Hello guys and welcome back. This episode is going to be one of the final ones here, but this is going to be covering a lot of where you're going to be mounting a lot of your gear. Now, I mind you, the airplane is full of dust because we're still busy getting other things done, but I wanted to get this understood about the engine mounts in this because I did change mine a hair. I did not change the width, and you don't want to be looking at it sideways when you do this. And I want you guys to understand something here, that when you guys get ready to put your engine and get it installed, mine is actually sitting just behind your center line on this. Your balance point is actually the tube here, okay? You're going to be putting your fuel, which are going to be, these are tanks that I am actually making plugs for. I'm not done with them because I want to kind of make these custom before I send them to Bob to get the things molded. But either way, guys, they do, this one's kind of where, the hell's that? Okay, well anyway, I got a screw that kind of came loose and got stuck in there. But anyway, what we're doing here is I'm going to show you, obviously we got some sanding work to do. Now, once these tanks are done, they are going to sit in here, and they're going to be fairly good sized. They're going to be 1.5 gallon capacity, but what I did want to bring up in everything is I will be mounting my air tanks in here. My air tank is going to be mounted here, okay, and it will be, if I can get the damn thing to cooperate with me. Okay, so anyway, I had this set up already, but anyway, my air tanks are going to be sit in here, and then I'm going to make I'm going to set the batteries here. All of my ECUs and everything and all my computer goes right over here. And then over here is where all my receivers and everything go. These two wires, because of the two batteries, will go from here. This wire, which I need to make an extension for because the jet's so big, will come from here. And it will tie into here and up into there. And then the bottom battery will sit like this. And then the two batteries will sit up like whatever, or all three will be set in a way to where they're compatible. My air equipment will sit in up here like, let me find it. And all my air equipment, I've been working on this stuff kind of crazy today. So anyway, all of my air equipment in here, which some of it I will use, some of it I will not. I have not decided on what, this I have not completely decided on what I want to do, but I will be setting this all up in here. I'll be putting all of this actually installed into all of this to where it's all nice and clean. Then I am running an onboard air compressor with this, okay? And that will actually sit up here, and then all the rest of this stuff, batteries here, this and that. So when the gear finally does get here, it's somewhere around here, then I can get this all set up. Now these are all removable, guys, so you got to remember you want some detachable points, but you want to give yourself enough wire to where you take this out, you're not pulling or straining anything. Now this is the throttle, and it will go up in here. I will make an extension for that because I want these all nice and neat. I taped this one for now just to get an idea before I actually go, and I will do an actual tie. They call it a surgical tie, and it's actually a flat wax thread that I will use on this, and I will tie it every 3 inches. And then I will tie these, leaving a couple loops for repairs should ever need to be done in this and that. My fuel pump will in turn be mounted here. And this, and it could go anywhere else, but anyway, the fuel pump in turn needs to be mounted actually vertically. Air trap is going to sit in here. You can put it there, but this is so that you can add another. If you're going to put a smoke tank, you're going to set it in here. This is too big for a smoke tank. Now my thought on this is to keep this airflow as clean as possible to go through in this. And this is all just needs to be vacuumed up, guys. It's just dust from sanding. I just haven't gotten around to cleaning it out yet. I do not keep this engine in the shop. As you can see, it's spotless. However, there's one thing that I want you guys to look, is that there is and always has been a center line drawn on this airplane. And it actually does follow. And it goes through the center. These lines are all completely done and shot in unison. This engine has to be centered, and if you look over here, you're going to notice that your engine mounts are too narrow, and they're supposed to be. Now, basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use a couple pieces of aluminum, and then I'm going to mount all of this onto that and then bolt it to this. I did change my engine mounts. It's not necessary. If you want to do that, it's okay. I changed mine over to aircraft plywood, and it's just solid birch. And the reason I do that is because I wanted to make absolutely sure that it wasn't anything that could rock. Now, the one thing is I know is that there is not any vibration in this airplane. Okay, I'm going to treat it like there is, but there won't be. Now, everything that I do on connection wise that's going on for radio gear is all done this way because I want the MPX connectors. The MPX connectors need to be there so everything is readily accessible. My airlines are going to be run and they will connect. I will drill the connections into here. So when we're setting it up, these lines actually will screw in, and I'm going to get these through BVM. And they are screw-in type airline. I am not going to use any plastic fittings whatsoever in this jet. These two lines will run there, and then also in here in this particular bay is where I'm also going to put another plate down here, and this is where the electric brake controller will go. Now, this being said, I will get some Jet A fuel and actually do a mix on this, and then what I will do is I will actually prime all these lines. You don't want to run them dry. And there's a filter. This filter right here has actually got to be put where it is, and then there's a manual shut-off valve, which we have to run here, that will be actually mounted. The valves will be where they can be reached. This is the main fuel line that goes. This is the gas line. This is another thing you guys got to be very careful. These are all marked. This is for the kerosene. And basically what we're doing here is we're going to be running this line. Will connect to it'll all connect in from this one there, but there is, in fact, a shut-off valve that goes over here. These are not long enough to do that. So basically we can do this a couple different ways. We can actually mount. We can go and get a mount, which I'm going to get an aluminum mount through Sentry, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this in so it's like that. Now I need to find out exactly where, and I'm thinking right here is a very good idea. all of these lines and everything are going to come in. These will all be wired up in an MPX connector and actually made with the mount that will glue in the areas to actually come in and just plug them. The lines will be in here to actually just plug in. It makes it so much simpler. So, and setup time's not going to be a big deal. This is the switch, which will go right in here. Okay. Switch goes right in here, but you got to make sure that you have room for everything you're doing. So this switch is actually detachable out of here, and I will actually mount, I will drill a hole in here, run the wire behind it, and actually make it so that the on switch is actually facing forward. I am running 2 LiPo. There'll be actual, they're a little spendy, but I will be running the Spektrum deal. This is the Spektrum fail-safe deal. It has 3 satellites. Now the satellites, one will be up in here, one will be in here, and one will be in here. And that's why I have the wheel sitting there, is because I do plan on putting landing gear doors in this, and this area is going to open up. I will sheet this area off. Once this is all in and all this, I will actually build the wheel wells so all of this sits in here and actually works. I'm going to be reusing a lot of this bottom, which has already been finished off and beefed up in here and there, whatever it's got to do. But I also have a little bit in here to add, which comes up to about right to here and there. So what I will do is I will actually take some scrap plywood and I will actually build that up, and then I will actually measure it for the height and then actually go through and make it so when the wheel does come up, because if you're not doing the rotating gear, your wheel is going to sit about right here. With this, it actually works out because it will be in here flat when it does come in. But I don't want it open what it is. But this one, the gear door will stay closed and it'll only open when the gear's retracted and then close back up. And that is a 3.5 inch wheel. It'll look great. So anyway, but however, underneath all this stuff, I've got some beefing up to do, and again, waiting for landing gear parts to come in, and then we'll continue this. And I will do a couple videos on what I did. However, it's not really going to be a necessity unless you're planning on doing the door situation. There is going to be a modification on the length. If you do that, you're going to have to do 200 millimeter to make them long enough to be long enough to get in there, and they're going to have to be straight scale type Elio struts. Now you can do it with 184 or 194s, but 180 is going to be too short. So if you do that, you're going to be narrowing your landing gear too much. So we'll talk about that again. But anyway, the main thing here is to get the engine and everything basically done in here, because what I want to do is come in before I do all this, and I will actually make all this real nice and clean in here. It's not a big deal. It's just coming in and getting all the goodies up from sanding and its water. But I actually did use extra resin and seal this up so it'll come right off. Now, that being said, there's a lot of electronics that go into this jet, and we're still waiting on certain things and pieces and parts. And I am doing my wing tanks and want to get those. I'll show an updated video on those. But I think one of the biggest things now is that the jet is taking on a major personality. It looks great, and I'm not even second guessing it. So I did hook up, and actually this is the light that I fit in, which will actually be with this. I did test fit that. Now I do have to shorten it. I did set the wires long, and they got to be run all the way to the front. Again, a lot of electrical and MPX connectors. I'm counting 10 MPX connectors total to make all this work and work well. Now, I am changing over, however, the tail connection. And the reason being for it is because when I built the airplane, before I even sheeted it, I did already wire it. And I did that, and I did it with a silicone wire. However, it's not liking it. This wire works much better. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting this out and I'm pulling a new wire through it. And I'm just going to go ahead and solder the connections. I'm going to solder connections, and then I'm going to build everything else into it so we have them going both ways. This one is fine. This one's okay too, but I want to reuse that doing something else. So it's a matter of reaching through it and cutting all these ties. In order to do that, you got to take the airplane apart. So anyway, I just haven't gotten to it to do it. I have done a lot of setup. I have done some functioning tests on here with test equipment, and I have not powered up the receiver yet, and I will do that soon. The thing is that there's just so many other things going on here first that we got a lot of things going on to make sure all these things are okay. So, with all that being said, it gets very busy. Now, these lights that I'm using are Unilights, and they do have heat sinks on them. This is actually the rotating beacon that goes in the bottom. And I have two of these controllers, okay? Now, in order to power them up, you do have to power up the receiver, and you do need its battery source here. And they will, they work well. This is going to be used in the machine guns. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be running as a smaller light such as these, and these will be actually mounted inside here. These are strobes, and they will actually be mounted back into here, so you will see them actually flashing when I do a strafing run. But anyway, this is just little things we're doing at this point. I have a lot glued on. You guys know the story on planking on a lot of these things. These wing tanks are not difficult, but I did actually get the pylon started. We're very close. So anyway, this is what they're looking like, and they bolt up beautifully. So anyway, guys, I hope a lot of these are going to go. Make sure you're following your user manuals for all the other stuff that you're doing. It's extremely important, and that you're setting up and connecting all of your connections correctly. And then we'll get some zip ties, some more wire, and little things like this and that, and we'll get some other things built. But until then, I'll see you guys in the funny papers. Next time you guys will see us, we'll talk about the landing gear and what I'm using to do it and how to do it. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the funny papers. Thank you very much for watching.